What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. And today I'm very excited to check out Volt Battle Arena from NASCA Games. This is for 2 to 4 players, ages 13 up, and it'll take you about 30 minutes to play. And in the Volt Robot Arena, you will be programming your robot in a battle arena, potentially with some super cool weapons, trying to gain 5 victory points fastest. You're going to be doing this by getting to certain spots on the board, or by shooting lasers at your opponents, throwing grenades, using portals, doing all kinds of cool stuff. Sound intriguing? Let's open it up, see how it works. Alrighty then, we're going to be checking out Volt Robot Battle Arena. So, first and foremost, we have our handy-dandy rule booklet. It is about the size of a record thing, and it's 2 pages, double-sided, full color. It is a very, very well-done rule booklet. This part you won't even need in your first game until you've got a game or 2 under your belt. This is all just advanced modules, which you definitely should play with once you figure out what you're doing, but when you start, definitely just play with the base game. But very, very well-done rule booklet. I'll have you up and running in no time at all. So in Volt, what you are going to do is you're going to be taking control of one of these little miniature robots, and you're going to be trying to go around the board, shoot your opponents, but more importantly, gain the elusive victory points. You're going to gain these victory points by either A, pushing your opponents into pits or off the board, B, shooting them and giving them the 3rd point of damage, which will eventually kill them, or C, collecting victory points that will be on one spot on the board. So there's a lot of components going on over here. It looks daunting. Don't worry, we'll get into all this stuff later, really briefly. The one thing you do need to know is that you're going to get 2 boards, and they're both double-sided, so we'll take a look at them. And they're going to look something like this and something like that. And which board you use really isn't going to matter too much. It will change up the game somewhat. So like this board, you're really going to have to watch out for pits a lot more because they are just kind of spread all over the place. But it is a nice little touch that they did include that many boards. So, we're going to go over how the gameplay works and the components, and then hopefully we'll get a feel for the game. So, as I mentioned, you're going to take control of your little robot. When you start the game, you're going to put your little robot somewhere on the outside of the board. Like so, just like that. Next, once everyone has placed their robot on the outside of the board, you are going to roll this number die right here and see where the victory point is going to go. So the victory point will be on the number 4. So you're going to take a victory point and you're going to, boom, set it on the number 4. Now what everyone's going to do is they are going to try and get to that said victory point. Simple as that. How are you going to do that? Well, this is a programming game, so you're actually going to be programming using this little board that's going to be in front of you. Now, also in front of you, you're going to have this little A, it's a cheat sheet, but B, it also is used to cover up your dice, because you're actually going to be programming with dice in this game. You're going to be having 3 dice in front of you, a red die, a blue die, and a white die that are going to help you program. So we're going to go over what all this symbology means on here, and hopefully by the end of this, you should understand exactly what's going on. So the first thing you're going to do over here, step 1, is you are going to place your 3 die onto the board. Now, how does this work? Well, let's get to the colors over here. The red die is going to happen first. So whatever you do with your red die is going to happen first. And then the white die is going to go second, and then the blue die is going to go third. So you're going to want to program in that order. Now, what can you do on your turn? Well, you're going to have 2 options. You can either move your robot, which is the controls over here, or you can shoot a laser at opponents. And we'll get into what those lasers do in a second. So for instance, let's just say I'm right here, and I would really like to get towards that victory point, so I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you know what? I think my first move that I'd like to make is that I'm going to go 5 red. So I'm going to go 5 forward, so I put the 5 right on top of here. Now obviously, if this were in game, I'd want to be doing this secretly because other people are going to, look over here and potentially know what I'm going to do. So the next thing I want to do is say, alright, I would like to then go, I'll hopefully be there, I'll go 1, 2, 3 spots to the left, and then I'll be on the victory point. Now you don't immediately get the victory point just for landing on it. You have to be on the victory point after everyone's dice have done their movements and their lasers and stuff. So right now, these 2 dice right here, if everything goes as planned, will have me on the victory point. So let's just pretend that this guy is right here. So he's right here, and I'll say, alright, the next thing I think this guy is going to be over here, so I'm going to use a laser, and I'm going to shoot a laser at him. So that's where all this symbology in the middle comes into play. And this symbology is really, it looks confusing, but trust me, once you know what you're doing, it's not that confusing. So whatever laser number you put on here is going to shoot them, and you're instantly going to do 1 damage to your opponent. So if you play a 1 and shoot 1 at them, you're just going to do 1 damage. If you do a 2, their dice are going to rotate 45 degrees to the right. A 3, 45 degrees to the left. A 4, 90 degrees to the right, 90 degrees to the left. And a 6, you're actually going to move them 1 spot in that direction. So if you do a 6, you're going to completely move them, which can potentially really screw up what they're planning on doing. So what does that mean? Well, let's just pretend that someone shot me and I have to rotate my dice 45 degrees to the left. That means that essentially all these dice are going to go like this. So your entire plan that you just laid is just completely jacked up. But the thing is, if you've already utilized all 3 of your dice, if all 3 of these dice have taken their action, then it's not really going to affect you. So the other important thing to know about this is when do people do their actions? And how this works is you want to have the lowest number in order for you to do your actions. So let's just pretend that somebody else had a red dice that was a number 2. So they had a red dice with number 2. That means they're going to do their action before I do my action. And let's say they had a 4. Then that person is going to do it before I do mine. And then somebody has a 5. So let's pretend that someone has a 5 red and I have a 5 red. What's going to happen is we're going to compare the rest of our numbers and see who has the lowest numbers. Whoever has the lowest numbers is going to be the one that is going to go first. What if we're tied, you ask? Well, that's where these chips over here come into play. You're going to randomly draw one of these chips. Well, they're actually supposed to be like this. You're going to randomly draw one of these chips, and whoever has the lowest number, they get to go first. So that's what's going to happen. And once you've taken all your things, you are going to then repeat, rinse, wash, and repeat. So you mentioned, what happens if you fall into a pit? What happens if you die? Well, first and foremost, if someone shoots you and they get that final point on you and you die, well, then they're going to collect 1 point. Also, if they're able to successfully push you into a pit, because that's something you can do. So say if a guy's right here and I'm going this way, I can push him into a pit and I will gain a victory point, and his turn will be done for this round. I will then gain my victory point. You're going to respawn. Dying is not a big deal in this game at all. And in fact, the 4 stages are, as I mentioned, drop the dice. So you're going to put all your dice down here and do whatever you want to do with your programming. Then you're going to take all the programming actions. You're going to collect victory points if you are on that spot. And then you are going to roll the dice, if you need to reestablish where the victory point's going to go. Because once someone collects this, you're going to put it on a different spot. And then last but not least, you are going to respawn. You're going to continue to do this until someone has gotten to the allotted 5 victory points, and they will be the winner of the game. Now let's get over here to the extra special tiles, which I mentioned, which there are lots and lots and lots of tiles. These are what's called modules, and these are really going to spice up the game. In fact, once you've played once or twice, I highly recommend playing with these. These are going to add special abilities that your robots have, and there's some really cool stuff. There's grenades and force blasters and mines and repair modules and reflector shields and tractor beams, and there's like a the portal gun in here. There's all sorts of really cool stuff that you can do in this game. Now, one last thing I did forget to mention, and I'll mention it real quick, is that I mentioned that if you get shot and you have 3 points of damage, you are dead, unless you land on this spot right here. If you land on this spot right here, all of your health damage that you had taken, which looks like this, will be completely negated, and you'll be back at full health. But that, in a nutshell, is how Volt Robot Battle Arena is played. Oh, great, Volt Robot Battle Arena from NASCAR Games, one of my final thoughts. Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, the game's not going to be for everybody. It's 2 to 4 players. That's one of the big cons with the game, because that's a very restrictive player count. I definitely would love to see this with 5 or 6 players in the future, because I think that would just be an absolute blast. Another con that I had on this is that the 2-player game plays drastically different than the 3 and 4-player game. The 3 and 4-player game is just crazy and wild, insane, and you'll be laughing like mad. And then the 2-player game kind of feels like more of a race. Like, oh, I want to get those victory points. Oh, it just feels like it's a little bit more of a race to try and get to places. I'll say the 2-player version is a bit more strategic, whereas the 3 and 4-player game is more like Wild Wild West, which I personally like a little bit better. But needless to say, it plays well at all player counts. The last con I have with the game is that it's not going to be for everybody. If you don't like programming games, this one might not be for you because it is pure and simple a programming game. But moving on to the pros, I have had some people in my game group who don't like programming games who still liked this game. And there's one big reason why. And that's because this game is really light and quick once you know how to play it. And that's one of the best things about this game. The rule booklet is fantastic. It's a very user-friendly game. It's incredibly simple. The little board that you have in front of you, or not the board, the control panel, but the little screen visor thing, it shows you exactly what you need to know. It goes the order of the dice, and then what you're going to do, and you're shooting your lasers, and all that sort of stuff. And the board is so small that there's not too much to think about, especially if you're just playing the base game. And what some people have had a problem with in like Robo Rally and stuff like that is if someone jacks up your move, it's like it can be detrimental. If someone screws your move up, that's just crappy for you. But in this game, like it plays so quickly that it doesn't really matter. If you die, guess what? You just respawn back next round. There's no penalty to you at all. And I really like that a lot. It says ages 13 and up. I think that is preposterous. I played it with a 7-year-old. They thought it was the funnest thing ever. I happen to agree. I think it's a fantastic game. I think this came out in 2014, and I'm going to say this is one of my favorite games of 2014. I think when I go back in like 5 years and make a list of my favorite games from 2014, this one definitely could crack the top 10, potentially even the top 5 with a good expansion. Hey, I'm hoping. So, overall, Volt Robot Battle Arena, while it does have a restricted play count, and it does just look like another robot programming game, look past all that. This is a fantastic, really, really fun, easy, user-friendly game. And oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, once you get to those modules and you have those cool weapons, that is where the game really hits its peak. Now, don't let me, sometimes when you get games and you play with just the base game, you're like, okay, that's pretty good. I think it's going to be better with this. No, the base game is really a lot of fun. Like, teaching this to people, they're going to be like, wait, there's more? We get to add more? We get special weapons and special powers? And they just get super psyched for it. So, overall, Volt Robot Battle Arena, you could not tell by my gushing, is a fantastic game that I think should be on everyone's shelf as long as you like programming games, and as long as you are going to get to the 2, 3, 4 player count from time to time. So, Volt Robot Arena from Nazca, one of my pleasant surprises from 2014. Let me know in the comments below, what was your favorite game from last year, 2014? Unless you're watching this in like 2030, and then just tell me your favorite 2029 game, I guess? I don't know. Anyway, let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this content, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below. And, as always, thanks for your time, YouTube. That was a review for Volt Robot Battle Arena. For more reviews and previews, check back at Bowers Game Corner.